Hi, so this video log is about our research ideas for our research project coming up. I'm sitting at the front desk, so there might be a lot of opening and closing of the door, but hopefully if I need to, I'll repeat things. I'm not feeling great also, so I sound like an old lady, but forgive me. So the research topic ideas that we have a lot so far, so I'm not really sure how the narrowing it down process is going to work, because I thought because we had initial like 3 big ones, that we'd narrowed it down to those 3, but we haven't. There are a ton of topics, so I'm not really sure how we're going to narrow it down right now. But I'll kind of go through them and say what my input, and maybe that's how we're going to narrow it down. So the first couple of topics were about race, which I'm really interested in. It's not something that I have a lot of prior knowledge about, and it's something that I feel like I have a lot of privilege in. So I don't really know how that side of a dialogue would work. Really owning that privilege and working through it for further understanding. But the ones that we brought up about race were jokes, satire, and reinforcement of racial identity perceptions, interracial dating, vulnerability of identifying with a race and associating with members of different identity groups, race and football athletic culture at Clemson, language used around athletics regarding race, race and physical development within athletics. Oh, and that's all. So, I really like all those ideas. I think that the ones about athletic culture will definitely give us a huge sample size to work with, because we have a huge athletic culture on campus. I think that interracial dating might give us a much smaller sample size to take from, but I think that any of those would be really fascinating. And yeah, I think that a couple of those could fit in. I don't know if we need to really have it narrowed down for our research project, but I think that any of those could really work, and even doubling up on some of them might work. For social groups, we have friendships, meaningful or surface, and self-expression in a homogenous culture. I think self-expression in a homogenous culture sounds really interesting. I don't really know how a research project would look, and I feel like it's better suited for a different style of education. Like maybe not a research project, maybe like a paper or a presentation about it or a dialogue about it, but I don't know how a research project would look with that. Religion, excuse me, we have disparities regarding smaller, lesser known religions, and atheism and agnosticism in the South. I'm not as crazy about the smaller and lesser known religions idea. I think it's interesting, but it's not something that I'm really passionate about. And I think atheism, agnosticism in the South would be interesting. Also, don't really know what kind of research project it would really look like. I think it's fun to talk about, and I like hearing about it in my dialogue about religion, but I'd be interested to know what kind of results we would get out of that. For gender, we had connections between sexism, gender perceptions, and age, and female identity and human trafficking. I'm pretty sure we knocked out human trafficking because of our population here at Clemson, but I think that the connection between gender, sexism, and age is really interesting. I would love to hear about it. I don't really know where our other age groups would come from. Maybe if we sampled from the Clemson town community, and then obviously from the college. But I think it'd be really interesting if we got enough perspectives, and if we used the right type of research. Like surveys are awesome, but also definitely interviews and getting that really specific individual feedback. I think that would really contribute to our research if we were to do that. Power and privilege, how vulnerability impacts oppression and privilege. I think that sounds really, really cool. I love the vulnerability TED Talk. Again, not really sure what a research project would look like out of that, but and how comfortable people would feel talking about that. It's one of those that would be hard to explain to get what we want out of it. People would feel vulnerable, and I don't know if they would really give us the results that we would want out of that project. Classism, the lifetime effect of classism. I think that that's really neat. I'm not sure what the hypothesis is, and I don't know what sample size we would take for that. Like, we have a lot of college students here, but we haven't had a very long lifetime to really talk about classism, especially since, maybe between freshmen and seniors there's going to be a big difference in the people that they've met and learning more about classism, but I think that it'd be a much more powerful research project if we got older people to speak on that from different generations with different experiences and different historical knowledge and stuff. And then the last research project idea that we talked about was ableism, college student success, and mental health diagnoses. I think that's really interesting. I think mental health stuff is really interesting. I think it might be a little taboo and difficult for people to talk about and for people to share about, but I would love to learn more about it. I would love to talk more about it. So I'm really excited about these research projects. I'm interested to know how we're going to decide and how we're going to narrow it down, and I look forward to talking and hearing everybody else's opinions. Thanks.